I don't mind challenges. I'm just still pushing through like most small business owners are.
Planning ahead for the new year as COVID-19 restrictions remain in place, how a company that relies on weddings and events is adjusting. Leaders with generosity of spirit inspiring their team to do the same unto others. How this business managed to stay open and still take care of employees who might otherwise have gone without a paycheck. And it's specialized hands-on employment, helping people find a happier path. The program teaching skills that will be needed for years to come.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins. As we wrap up 2020, which has been a trying and challenging year for all of us, we are continuing to put the focus on small business owners who are creating their plans to be able to stay open into the new year. Tonight, our Nicole Griffin is finding out how the current restrictions on event sizes are impacting a local baking business and how the owner is pivoting in order to stay open.
One of the companies that has been hit really hard during the pandemic is Savor V. The owner lives right here in Indianapolis, and she focuses heavily on baking cakes for events like graduations or even weddings. She tells me with many of those being postponed or canceled due to the pandemic, she's being forced to come up with new products.
2020 has been a year of new challenges for V. Tabron.
I think small business owners, we're feeling the most of COVID.
But for her, facing challenges head on is nothing new. It's how she started her business.
I had an idea to bake cookies, which was weird because my electricity had been turned off by that time.
Living in Atlanta at the time, she spent her last $10 and used a friend's kitchen and started baking cookies.
And I hit the streets and I started selling cookies. At the end of the day, I had about $200. I was like, maybe I should be baking. Maybe there's something to this.
Eventually, she caught the attention of the U.S. military through social media and started shipping her products.
The red velvet, the banana pudding, all those things reminded them of home. So that kind of launched everything that we have now, which is savorv.com.
Before the pandemic started, she was fulfilling orders for all different types of cakes.
Wedding cakes, baby showers, graduations, and people aren't gathering in the way in which they used to. So I'm not getting those big ticket orders anymore. So I'm trying to shift everybody to like cupcake jars. It's the perfect social distancing dessert. So it's trying to get people to shift to that total mindset, which has been the challenge, and even to go online and order it and wait, the 48 hours or possibly the 72 hours instead of them just running to a local store.
Tabron says despite the ups and downs 2020 has brought her way, she's up for the challenge. And while business is slow now, she's pushing through and hoping for success in the new year. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Early in the pandemic, shutdowns hit restaurants and bars hard, especially the employees. Tonight, we are revisiting a local business that still made its employees' welfare a priority during some dark days. Our original feature in March on Ale Emporium went viral after people heard how its owners supported workers. The company's owner pledged to pay kitchen and salaried staff their normal wages, paying tipped employees their average weekly rate, and providing staff and their families a free meal a day. Curbside ordering went crazy and kept business coming in, so this spot on the northeast side could be here today. Manager Josh Williams says their workplace culture plays a big role.
Their generosity has really encouraged everyone that works here to display that same kind of generosity in other places. So it's really been a good learning tool for everyone here, and leading by example, our owners have done an incredible job of just making sure everyone has what they need to get by during this difficult time.
The folks at Ale Emporium say they're constantly tweaking their carryout plans so that they can keep up with what people want, especially as carryout becomes one of the primary models to keep business flowing in the winter months. You can see updates on Ale Emporium and several other businesses we featured this year in our special Inside the COVID Crisis, We're Open. That's tomorrow at 5 p.m. right here on WRTV. WRTV's Hiring Hoosiers works to connect you to job opportunities and training programs to better your career. And right now, there's a huge opportunity for you to make a career pivot thanks to the Peterman Top Tech Academy. Our Lauren Casey learned how the training program provides a path to success in a high-demand field.
I just wanted a different opportunity. Carrie Clendenning was looking for a change.
I wanted to be able to learn something a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more specialized.
After working on semis and a manufacturing plant for 18 years, she jumped at the opportunity to get skills training with Peterman Top Tech Academy.
And I wanted to find a way that I could serve people and customers.
The Top Tech Academy is a training program to bring awareness to the trades, and it trains people with the potential to work in these fields. Chad Peterman is the president.
I think oftentimes being a plumber or being an HVAC technician could be looked at as just a job or something like that. And I think it's really important to understand that it can definitely be a career and one that's really rewarding.
The 4-month program teaches participants the skills they need to work on HVAC and plumbing systems, work that is essential no matter the pandemic or the economy.
The need is very great, and I would say the need is to find really great people.
People like Clendenning, who started the program in October, will be graduating in the new year.
Oh, I feel great. This place has built a really good atmosphere to practice new skills and master those skills. So I feel like once I graduate and head on out to the field, I'm confident. I feel good about it.
The training includes classwork on the curriculum, labs in small groups, and field work alongside Peterman employees.
We'll learn stuff practically, like in the classroom, and then we'll come out hands-on in the lab and we'll tear things apart and put it back together.
We've adapted as best we can.
Class sizes are smaller, and they've made changes in light of this pandemic.
I think that the important thing is we're getting the training in that we need to get in. Hopefully at some point in time we can get back to something of what we originally planned for.
If you have a little bit of interest, get into it. And if you get into this class, just absorb everything, soak it all in.
And the best part, not only is this hands-on training free, but you get paid along the way as a Peterman employee, even while you're in their Top Tech Academy.
It has changed my life, and in the future, going through training like this, once I step out into the field, I'm going to have confidence that I can do my job.
When you have a skill, you feel empowered, and empowering people is the key, I think, to growing a business. To me, when you arm somebody with a skill set, there's really nothing that can stop them.
Lauren Casey, RTV6.
Well, they are already looking for their next class of participants in the Top Tech Academy. This past course brought in more than 600 applications with 16 people in the class, so it is competitive. They already have hundreds of applications for the next course. They will start making offers in January, so the time to apply is now. For more information, click on this story at hiringhoosiers.com.
Quiet weather for your New Year's Eve evening, but as we go into New Year's Day, things could get a little slippery out there. We've got a winter weather advisory, goes into effect at 3 a.m. from Johnson County, there, Morgan County, and areas to the north, as we're going to see an area of freezing rain moving in and some light ice accumulations here. There you can see that chance for wet weather that really increases as we get to around 6 o'clock in the morning. Right now, that system is sitting off to the south and west. You can see a lot of rain with it back into portions of Texas and Oklahoma. Still have that blanket of snow that we picked up yesterday evening, but we're not going to see any precipitation this evening. Our temperature 29 for you in Indy, 32 in Shelbyville, and 28 in Kokomo. I do think those temperatures will hold fairly steady here, upper 20s to around 30 degrees. And again, it's going to be quiet here with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies through 10 o'clock. We'll talk more about that icy timeline as we start off 2021 in just a bit.
We will see you in just a few minutes, Kyle. Thank you. This week, state leaders were cautiously optimistic when it comes to COVID-19 activity in Indiana. Elective procedures are allowed again, but State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Bach says she believes cases are going to increase again and soon. Looking at a snapshot of where we sit so far in the pandemic, we are now on a slight decline after a major peak in cases, but things aren't so clear in other areas. We are still seeing high daily death rates, and Indiana hospitals are still seeing peak numbers of COVID patients. More than 342,000 Americans have now died from COVID-19, and the CDC says the country could see nearly another 100,000 in a month. The distribution of vaccines has been slower than expected, but health officials say distribution is increasing. Here's ABC's Christine Sloan with the details tonight.
The U.S. seeing a record number of deaths for 2 consecutive days, 3,903 deaths reported on December 30th, according to the COVID Tracking Project. Hospitals in Los Angeles County overwhelmed. Every 10 minutes, the county's public health department tweeting about a life lost to the virus.
We have reached the terrible milestone of exceeding 10,000 deaths from COVID-19 in LA County.
In Anniston, Alabama, officials at the regional medical center say they've run out of beds.
When we did all these models and thought about planning how to take care of these patients, we were under the assumption that people would actually listen to us and say, hey, wear a mask, social distance, you got to do it right because we eventually will run out of beds.
The Trump administration had promised 20 million vaccinations by the end of the year, but so far only 14 million doses have been delivered and fewer than 3 million have been administered.
What people should be most excited about is that the curve is rapidly increasing in terms of number of people being vaccinated.
Traffic backed up for miles in Hamilton County, Tennessee, after vaccine eligibility was expanded to those 75 and older. Senior citizens in Florida waiting in long lines as well. In Wisconsin, Aurora Medical Center fired an employee who admitted to intentionally ruining more than 500 doses of the vaccine by taking them out of special refrigeration. Both the FBI and FDA are now investigating. Overseas, 40 million people in Great Britain are under harsh restrictions. All non-essential businesses closed. New Year's celebrations essentially canceled. But in the original epicenter of the pandemic, Wuhan, China, a city completely locked down at the beginning of 2020, life seemingly returning to normal as the year comes to an end. Christine Sloan, ABC News, New York.
Getting a jump start on resolutions. Still ahead on WRTV, how health and fitness centers are working hard to keep things clean and distance so people can get going early on 2021 goals. The IU football team will ring in the new year in Tampa. The Hoosiers are counting down to kick off in the Outback Bowl, making the trip south this afternoon, the big game on Saturday. Coming up, their quarterback talks about getting set for his most important college start.
At Ashley Home Store.
Tomorrow is the start of the new year, and the new year, new me mentality is in full swing as 2020 finally comes to a close. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is taking a look at how dozens are getting a head start on their 2021 fitness goals.
We're going to go back to base, guys, in 3, 2, 1, base, 40.
At Orange Theory in Fishers, members are running, rowing, and lifting. Everyone there with the same goal: to live a healthier life.
I knew I needed to find something to keep me moving because it's going to better my immune system and help my lungs work harder.
Danya Whitty has been an OTF member for 4 years. When she was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis as an adult, one of the things her doctor prescribed was exercise.
I am healthier now than I have ever been in my life.
Because of her diagnosis, when the pandemic hit the United States, Whitty had to be more careful than she was before.
In the beginning, it was really scary because nobody really knew what was going on, didn't know who it was affecting more. There was too many unknowns, so I pretty much, even before quarantine started, I just stayed in my house. As a person with cystic fibrosis, I'm more careful than your average person.
She froze her membership until she felt it was safe for her to come back.
This place was already safe and very clean before COVID even started. Again, I had to be aware of those things prior to COVID. So now coming in here, they are going over and above anything that I know most gyms are even doing.
We are cleaning, deep cleaning in between every single class. We leave 20 minutes so that we can clean, it can dry, and the next group comes in and is safe. In between our rotations, members are wiping down, and our wipes are antiviral, so that actually does help to kill the COVID molecules as well.
Katie Wachtel is the regional fitness director, and besides the extra cleaning in between classes, she says they use a fogger with EPA-approved cleaning products, maintain social distancing, require members to wear masks during transitions, and they do temperature checks before each class. Hopeful that soon they can get back to normal.
We have found a lot of people that are back are very confident with our protocols. We're not seeing transmissions in studio.
She tells me they are going one step further and working on policies to show lawmakers that gyms are safe and they're good for your immune system.
We are advocating that gyms are allowed to stay open. We're trying to provide data that is just not happening here. You're actually building your white blood cells in your body, and it actually helps you to fight the COVID disease. So we want people to be back in here and working out. We know that it's safe, and yes, we will hold the line on being very vigilant about our cleaning and about our social distancing and all of those things until the world is back to normal.
As for Whitty, she says she felt the effects of taking 6 months off the gym.
I noticed it huge in my lungs. I was coughing a lot more. There was a lot more stuff trying to get out that wasn't getting out. And I definitely noticed that my mental well-being was kind of taking a dip. So, yeah, I definitely noticed it. And things kind of relocated a little bit where I didn't want them to.
Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Well, you've got my permission to use the weather as an added excuse to kind of put off that resolution just a little while longer, because as we go into Friday morning, we are going to have some slick conditions out there early in the day. We're going to have that area of freezing rain expanding. You can see that area of pink as we get to 6 o'clock on your Friday morning. Fairly widespread. Temperatures will start to warm as we go through the morning, so things should improve for you around Bloomington into Seymour as we get to around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Still a little bit of that freezing rain, though, around Fishers and into Lebanon. Certainly still locked in there around Kokomo and Monticello. You'll be the last ones to get above freezing and switch over to just plain old rain. Most areas should do that by early afternoon tomorrow. As far as that ice accumulation, many areas near I-70 should be less than 1/10 of an inch, but we get toward areas of Clinton County, also around Lafayette, Kokomo could see closer to about 1/4 inch of rain. Just takes a little bit to cause us some problems out there, so just kind of keep that in mind. Right now, cloudy, overcast skies. We got 29 degrees for us in downtown Indianapolis, 30 in Lafayette and the Bloomington area. Winds are fairly light. Well, you might be staying in for New Year's Eve, but here's a check of that forecast as we approach midnight tonight. The clouds continuing to increase, but we're going to be dry here through midnight at 28 degrees or so. So those temperatures will be a little bit chilly, but they're kind of holding their own. As we get into your Friday, they will gradually climb. There we are above the freezing mark by a few degrees as we get to 10 a.m. And we'll see temperatures climbing into the 40s, an evening high that will be very close to the 50-degree mark. But also, rain is going to be falling as we go through the day and those temperatures continue to warm. So we're looking at about another 1/2 to inch of wet weather coming our way here for the end of the week. But the weekend overall should be fairly quiet. Now, one little bump in the road here will be Saturday night into Sunday morning. Could see a light wintry mix. Doesn't look like it will be a big deal for us at this point. And temperatures pretty nice here as we go into the start of January. It's all relative this time of year, and we're looking at highs that'll be around 40 degrees. That average high is only in the middle 30s. So around 49, but that will be late tomorrow. We'll get to around 40 with gray skies on Saturday. Sunday, again, could have a few rain or snow showers to start off the day, and then temperatures will start to rebound here. Highs are in the middle 40s as we head into next week. Another chance for showers by Thursday.
Kyle, thank you. Hey, there are a bunch of big football games to open 2021. The Indiana Hoosiers will be playing on the 2nd day of January. Brad Brown is right over there with a look ahead at all of it. Hey, Brad.
Hi, Mark. Great to be here. Win or lose, it'll be a happy new year for the IU football team. A program-defining season left them out of the big New Year's 6 bowl games, but a chance in Saturday's Outback Bowl to prove that all the hype about their 6-1 record was earned. The Hoosiers will go into the matchup against Ole Miss with Jack Tuttle at quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. had led IU on its march through the first 5 games, but a torn ACL against Maryland put him out. Well, Tuttle finished off that win and then led Indiana to victory at Wisconsin. He threw for just 130 yards in that game on 22 attempts, but his 2 touchdowns would be enough. Now the sophomore quarterback is getting set for the biggest start of his college career after getting passed up for the starting job to start this season. What about that 4-week gap between starts?
I think that game has helped me improve so much and gain so much confidence as anyone would really say. Now it's not really about, oh, it's first start or, hey, now it's time to get your feet wet. Now it's just kind of playing football, right? Now it's just improving from that game, prepping for Ole Miss, and just going to play football.
First of all, it was great to have that game where he was the starter, had the chance to prepare for that all week long. Obviously came in the previous game against Maryland and played well in an impromptu situation there. But I think it was very beneficial for his confidence and just the experience of having that game under his belt.
Another reminder, you can watch the Outback Bowl right here on WRTV Saturday at 12:30. I will have highlights and reaction from the game coming up on the news at 6 then. Time for us to take another break. Mark is back to wrap up tonight's edition of the News at 5 next.
6 months payment and 0 due at signing.
Tonight on WRTV, right after the clock strikes midnight, a man from Seymour will find out if he gets to start 2021 with a huge jackpot.
I'm 1 in 5 people that have a chance to win $1 million at the very beginning of the year.
Steve Everidge is one of 5 finalists for Powerball's first Millionaire of the Year contest. The winner will be randomly chosen tonight on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. Steve told me that he's been luckier than many this year, and he plans to invest his money if he wins big tonight.
It's been not a horrible year for me, but I mean, it's been a crazy year, that's for sure. So, I mean, that would kick off next year, be great, right at the beginning.
Steve has already won $13,000 in lottery contests that landed him in the $1 million drawing for tonight. Since no crowds are allowed, he'll be watching Rockin' New Year's Eve at home along with us right after the news at 11 right here on WRTV, so you can cheer him on. Medical school applications are skyrocketing during the pandemic. Tonight at 6, the impact this could have on local hospitals, but maybe not in the way you would expect. Agritourism businesses in Indiana have been hit hard by COVID-19. Still ahead, how one local business is shifting its strategy to survive and rebound from the pandemic. That's next when the news continues at 5:30 on WRTV.